Welcome to your final night of solutions. On the solutions for tonight, I'm not going to do a lot of the graphing. I'm just going to do some basic things to see if we've matched each other. So this is problem number 3 about the farmer and the acres, and I'm calling P for potatoes and C for corn. First of all, the number of acres for potatoes has to be greater than or equal to 0, and the same thing for the corn. The acres of potatoes plus the acres of corn has to be less than or equal to 70 acres. And then for the cost, $20 times the number of acres for potatoes and $60 times the number of acres for corn has to be less than or equal to 3,000. And of course, the profit equation is the function at xy is equal to $150 per acre of potato and $50 per acre of corn. So let's go ahead and look at what we're going to do to continue this. If I graph this, please notice where the star is, where I have 20p plus 60c is less than or equal to 3,000. We need to realize that all of those are divisible by 20. And so Mrs. Rose has them down here where it's p plus 3c is less than or equal to 150. When I graphed these, the feasible region is bounded by these corners, 0, 0, 0, 70, 50, 0, and 40, 30. And so you can take those and substitute them into the function to find out where you're at. Now, I do want to caution you, though, that I did use corn as my x and potatoes as my y. If you set it up differently, your graph would look slightly different than mine. All right, impact printing. If we talk about P as being premium and theta being ordinary, the constraints would be P is greater than or equal to 0, theta is greater than or equal to 0, P plus theta is greater than or equal to 5,000, P has to be less than or equal to 4,000, and 18P plus 12 theta is less than or equal to 14,400. Now, where did I get 14,400? Oh, well, the rate of time is in minutes per case, but we talk about the fact that there's 1,200 hours of machine time. So please realize that the hours needs to be changed to minutes. Also realize that 18p plus 12 theta less than or equal to 14,400 needs to be changed to simplest standard form before you graph it. And by the way, the profit equation for this, the profit would equal 4p plus 3 theta. All right, so the Cedarbrook Paper Company, all Mrs. Rose has done is written the constraints to make sure that you have them, assuming that G, of course, is glossy and M is matte. G plus M has to be less than or equal to 500. M has to be greater than or equal to 100. 75G plus 25M is less than or equal to 17,500. Now also remember that 75G plus 25M less than or equal to 17,500 can be simplified, along with the fact that I have left two constraints off, knowing that you know what to write in the fact that they would be in the first quadrant. By the way, the profit would be 50G plus 45M. All right, what about the bake sale? S is standing for small and L is standing for large. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember that these are number of dozens of cookies. So the number of small dozens plus the number of large dozens has to be less than or equal to 150. The large has to be greater than or equal to 25, and the small has to be less than or equal to 100. And the small also has to be greater than or equal to 0. Mrs. Rose didn't bother with large is greater than or equal to 0 because 0 is already smaller than 25. And of course, my function profit is at S and L, 1.5S plus 2L. And then finally, the last one for today, just to show you how to set it up, is the calculator problem. Scientific plus graphing calculators has to be less than or equal to 800. 4 times the number of scientific plus 10 times the number of graphing has to be less than or equal to 5,000. Small has to be greater than or equal to 0, and graphing has to be greater than or equal to 0. And my profit will be $2 times the number of scientific plus $20 times the number of graphing calculators. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this has helped you quite a bit. Remember that you do have a lot of other problems that need to be done, and I'll see you tomorrow. The test is tomorrow, and I promise if you've been able to do this packet without any issues this week, you'll do excellent tomorrow. Toodles, have a great day.